Hello and welcome to another episode of Fintech Focus TV with me, Toby. Today we are over in Denmark, and it's my great pleasure. If you've saw the recent webinar where we looked at the highly effective habits of great fintech leaders, we were joined by Remonda from Muinmos. Remonda, how are you?
I am good. I'm great. How are you, Toby?
Really, really good. Thanks. Really, really good. Listen, I loved having you on that webinar. It was really good fun. And we talked about some of your leadership secrets and the story of the business to an extent. But I got really excited. I love seeing people who are very, very passionate and excited about what they're talking about where they're going with their business. And we're going to talk a lot about purpose. We're going to talk a lot about your sort of philosophy and the business itself on a one-to-one basis, which I'm excited about. But before we get into all of that, tell us a little bit about the company and your background.
Well, my background is in financial services. I've pretty much been in financial services for over 20 years now. Absolutely love it. Started Muinmos almost a decade ago now in 2012. And actually primarily to, if you like, to fix a problem in the market that was absolutely a main hindrance to business during my many years working in a number of financial institutions. Client onboarding is an absolute maze, and to actually do it well and properly and ensure you comply with the regulation, in particular cross-border, is absolutely complicated. We love what we do at Muinmos in terms of actually unraveling the complexity and turning it into simplicity. So literally what we have been doing over the past almost decade is building software to actually make the entire onboarding journey for financial institutions when they're taking on clients seamless, easy, compliant, actually pleasant, if that makes sense. Just to really feel that they're enjoying the purpose, and to turn compliance officers, lawyers that are dealing in particular in this space, to actually, do their job in terms of being analytical, really assess the data that comes at them, rather than spend endless days, sometimes even months, gathering through all sorts of different data sets to actually be able to figure out a simple question: can we onboard a particular client from a particular country to actually trade with us in a particular product? It's really a simple question, but the complexity that lies behind it is enormous, absolutely enormous. And that's what we have done over the past many years.
I think this is a really interesting thing for me, because I speak to a lot of companies on the show and during the day-to-day basis of the day job. And I think one of the core themes of businesses that I'm looking at that's succeeding at the moment is turning complex into simple, which sounds an obvious sort of play, right? But it's so often it's there's so much jargon. My father was a lawyer, and I saw something in the Lawyer magazine that he sent across to me, which is one of his former proteges who was writing about their sort of mentors, and it was about him, and he said it was one of his great strengths was to explain to customers very, very complex sort of jargon into human language. And I think within the FS space we're seeing so much complexity that actually when businesses can streamline that and make it easy, particularly when we've got much more of a digital world that we live in as a whole these days, people are looking for immediate access, and that onboarding piece has been a pain point for many, many years. What was it that sort of tipped you to start this up and say, actually, we've got a better way of doing things here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably a bad example in that sense. So I love technology, and I love regulation, and I love law. So the combination of all these three really is an obvious design for our company, Muinmos. A lot of my colleagues that worked with me over the past many, many years, they know very well that I was turning my lawyers almost into coders. To actually show them the absolute empowerment of how much technology can empower us to become even better lawyers, better compliance officers, better regulatory experts. Purely and simply, the stuff machines can do at the speed they can do it at, no matter which superhuman you're talking to, the machine will always win, and it's always consistent, and hopefully consistently right as well. And that's actually one of probably I would say catalyst for me to actually go into this was the headache that I've experienced in the past years of heading these functions, where I felt that actually the business was often stalling. They couldn't move on because they're going into a new country, new jurisdiction. They needed to know instantly, what can we do, what can't we do? And I felt that the research and getting legal opinions and trying to actually shuffle between a huge amount of frameworks to conclude whether the institution can go ahead and actually take on clients for particular products in a particular jurisdiction became a minefield. So for me, actually, I looked around, to be honest with you, almost more than a decade ago, and I won't name some of the obvious sources that I contacted, and they thought I was crazy. They said, nothing like that exists. And often you see a lot of people talking about the KYC AML space, which of course we cover as well. But one core complexity in those days and even until now is actually dealing with the client in terms of, can I offer them this product? Can I offer them this service? Can I offer it to them in the country they are domiciled in? And then sure, let's clear the KYC AML after that. So there were quite a lot of solutions even then, and now, of course, the market is flooded with KYC AML solutions, which we also cover. But Muinmos' founding, if you like, core product offering was actually to solve the area that was not solved before. It's a huge headache in the marketplace, and we could simply not find any provider, from the biggest to the smallest, that could actually solve the dilemma that we have managed now to pretty much package into our, for example, MPAS module. So the driver for me was there was nothing there, Toby, and we needed to fix it.
And so that was the sort of and this, even when you're talking about this, it sort of shrieks off the page about how invested and passionate you are about this as a problem and what you're doing to solve it. How did that talk to me a little bit about that sort of journey as well? So you were there, you were looking for the solution. It wasn't something there which you could find.
Yeah.
How did you come to the solution?
It's tough. I mean, leaving large organizations. I started my journey in Saxo Bank, where we grew from almost nothing to the thousands of people I saw coming in before I left to actually found CFH Clearing, which also became a huge company. We started that also, you could argue, in a basement. And seeing that grow from a couple of founders to a phenomenal financial institution was absolutely rewarding. For me to leave that behind again and start the journey from scratch in a square room with literally nothing other than a desk, a chair, a laptop, and a dream. That was literally the story behind the company. So it's tough. I can't say to you it's easy. It's never going to be easy. No founder with what we are going through and what we are building and what we are solving will tell you the journey was easy, it was the right decision. Yes, absolutely, it's the right decision. But it's definitely tough to actually start with a blank piece of paper, knowing that there's the vision. We have a dream. The dream looks like this. We want to be able to solve a nightmare situation in an absolutely gigantic global market in one of the most sophisticated and highly regulated segments, and actually be able to tell a financial institution instantly by a click of a button whether the answer is yes or no. Imagine how empowering that is to sales. In those financial institutions that can literally by a mere click know whether they can or can't do business with a particular client in that country. That's absolutely phenomenal. The dream was there. The blank piece of paper was also there. It all started really on a napkin. And that's how the dream started. And then try building each individual piece from that to where we are today. Is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It is really.
So tell me where you are today. What's whereabouts in the journey are you now?
Oh, we're in the journey where we made it. we have actually managed to literally by mere clicks of a button be able to answer that question. And what's happening in the back end in the engine is insanely sophisticated. It's really for individuals or even experts in the field, technologists, they will see what lies behind that code is absolutely a phenomenal piece of work. work. And we're going in the growth phase now. So the product is proven, the market is proven, the segments are proven, the traction is proven, and we're definitely in the process now of hiring and hiring big. So if anyone is listening to this, please contact us. We're definitely in the process of pretty much hiring. And hiring, we're not just looking for people with a good CV, we're looking for people with passion that actually are truly driven for making a difference and being part of that remarkable journey that every single one of us at Muinmos is actually experiencing every single day.
And this was another thing that we spoke about in the webinar, which is available on Fintech Focus TV archives if you want to go back and see about this, because I'm a big believer in the power of people, and I believe that great teams, no matter how strong the idea is, if they've got poor people, they have a great idea, they'll still be a poor business. But if they've got an average idea, that idea can become great by the power of the people that are around them. You've got a great idea, and I know you're very passionate about bringing in and keeping and occasionally offboarding, the wrong people from that, because it can't be perfect all the time. I did a podcast last week with Nadia, who's our Chief Customer Officer over here, and we were talking about the power of attitude and how people sometimes are looking for, the ideal fit technically and missing potentially the actual, right criteria of hiring for attitude and belief and structure and passion and everything in between it. Tell us a little bit about how you get hiring right and how the quality of people in the company is driven the performance and the adoption and everything that you're doing. And also, and this is one of my habits where I throw 15 questions in at once. I also know that you're someone there who believes in automation a lot as well, and having the best technology and being as efficient as a business as possible, whilst also talking, almost in contrast about this sort of scale up in terms of people and growth. For loads of different things to throw at you there. I'll let you try and decipher where the question is within it.
It's tough. I mean, finding the right people in growth organizations, Toby, is very, very difficult. There are amazing people out there, and who's right for these type of stage journeys, if you like. It's not for everyone. A lot of people, even if they're fantastic in terms of CV, they've worked all their life, say, in huge corporations or very, very large banks, and taking them from that and putting them into an organization like ours, where it's absolutely empowering. I love empowering the team. I love seeing also passion in them. When we hire, of course, you need to hire also on skill. But to be frank with you, when I hire, I'm also hiring on passion. I need to see that drive in the individual that's coming for the interview, where I could see, this person can actually fit in. And the rest you can always teach. You can always teach the product. You can always teach the process around it. You can always empower people in the right way. But if you don't have that element of joy of actually coming in and seeing yourself being part of the success or even failure of a decision. And it's so fast. You will literally see every step of every piece of the equation you're playing part in actually either go like this or like that, and then we work out how to go back up again. I mean, that's very, very unique. And to be honest with you, it's not for everyone. And there's no doubt we've had many hires that come in. And normally, I'm always the first to say, I'm not sure this is the right organization for you. And we've never left on bad terms, because actually, if you're an honest leader and you're there to empower your people, you're there to excel the company, you're there to make sure also your people, every single day you're empowering them, they're learning, they're growing, they're becoming absolutely skilled with new maybe skill sets, or even increasing their existing skill set to something as another level. I die for that. I mean, I live every day for that. And I can see that the team we have is absolutely loving every day of it. And they're absolutely empowered to do what they feel is best for the company and bringing their skill set into an organization like Muinmos and helping us grow it to the next level is amazing. There's no way I can do this alone, Toby. No way. It's impossible. So if I can't rely on what we have in our team today and hopefully tomorrow with the new hires, it's not possible. You can never build these journeys alone, no matter how good or intelligent you are. It has nothing to do with that. People, empowering people is
So it's very interesting to me. You talk about that. You talk about having a team there that love what they're doing and being very clear about those who are right and those who are wrong for it. And I think that concentration of talent is something I speak about a lot with regards to Netflix and Amazon, who are there and say, look, there's not a fear of it not being the right thing for everyone in it. That's
and you're not doing them by
candor.
keeping them. Exactly. I mean, it's both ways as well. It's also to make sure you're reflecting all the time, and you have to visit that all the time. And I'm often having regular meetings with my team to make sure, yes, this is the right position. It's absolutely the right tasks. They feel empowered. Everything is exactly the ingredients that will make them also successful. Their success is Muinmos' success. It's quite simple. Muinmos' success, our client's success. That's very clear.
Well, that ties very much in with our mantra as a business. So if you look at Harrington Star underneath it, it's got your success, our business, which is something which we really believe in, about making sure that all of our clients, all of the candidates, all of our colleagues are people who are more successful from having been touched by the business. And that's something which we're really, really passionate in. And I'm glad you should sort of share that as well. One of my favorite books is Drive by Dan Pink. I don't know if you've ever read it, but he talks about three things: mastery, autonomy, and purpose being the keys to exceptional performance. Autonomy is something you just touched on there, and you're talking about bringing really good people in there who spur each other on with a real purpose-driven business alongside that. It's a formula which sort of, as you're talking, sort of, the book very much sort of resonates into it. There's also a animated version of it which I'll send on to you. I think you'll find really interesting as well, because it seems very much your sort of DNA about how to create an exceptional environment. In our Financial Technologist magazine coming up at the end of this year, we're talking about sort of the top 1% of workplaces and that special ingredient that makes a great place to work. That's clearly something which you're invested into. What makes your company a great place to work for?
I believe our vision, our dream in what we can do together. The fact that you come in, yes, you have your title, you have everything surrounding that as well. But the fact that all of us together are living that dream every day, Toby. Yes, I founded the company in 2012. Yes, we created the name Muinmos, which reverses itself backwards in Latin. Somnium means dream. It wasn't a dream for me. The dream, yes, partly was actually my dream of creating a company that has a dream for everyone that actually joins that. If it's the individual, the employee, our customers, every single piece of the journey should be connected to that dream. Every day when I see it, it feels this name that was given to this company, many can't pronounce, neither could we at the beginning. It's amazing. Our clients believe, often they don't know, actually, the majority of our clients don't know what the name means. They often refer to our product as a dream. My team refers to the company as their dream. Their job is a dream. Our providers that work with us feel that actually the connections we have put together with them is a dream. And ironically, actually, not many people know that our name spelled backwards in Latin means dream. It's amazing, and it actually, it lives actually its name every single day, and we're so proud.
So talk to me about how that happened. How did that, when you were coming through? I always find it interesting, the naming of companies and such. Like when that's to go for a Latin word backwards is an unusual way of doing it. How did talk me through the process?
I think for us, a lot of people asked me, why are you leaving where I was? Because I loved the company I founded with fantastic people in the market space where I was at CFH. And they all said to me, how can you leave this, Remonda? You love it. And I said, because I have a dream. And of course, it's difficult when you are so invested also in an organization, and you're not leaving it because it's wrong. You're not leaving it because the people are wrong. You're not leaving it because you got headhunted for a new job. You're actually leaving it to start from a literally blank piece of paper, a dream that you have no idea where it's going to head. And often I actually said, it's not just my dream. I think the market will find this a dream if it's there. The financial sector, we truly see this as a dream software solution. You can't call yourself dream to the financial sector, Toby. I don't think that would sell very well, in particular in a segment like that. And I've always been interested actually in Latin, and we tried to play around with some words, and we've managed to conclude that actually reversing it backwards from Somnium, which read Muinmos, of course, it was actually definitely a final conclusive name that we felt, you know what, this is it. This feels
I love the whole story behind it. It's brilliant. It's brilliant, and it's yeah, as I say, a big area of interest to me about where these sort of things all come together, and that's a great story. So you've got these dreamers. You've got a team there who are really passionate about what they're doing, and it's not just your vision, but everyone's vision, and how that sort of gets attached to. So I think it's a individual connection to a group purpose is what the philosophers would probably call it, and in terms of and how they do that. Talk to me about the sort of day to day. Everyone's been through a couple of years of difficulty, and I know the company's sort of gone from strength to strength through that period for you, and I don't think it's ever been busier than it has been recently for you as well at the same sort of time. Talk to me about this sort of how you've ensured that everyone is well looked after, that everyone's dealing with everything in the right sort of way, and how you've sort of maintained and kept that culture through a difficult time over the last couple of years.
Yeah, we stick together, Toby, which helps an awful lot. Even during COVID, we tried to pretty much see each other as much as possible, so that we can create also team spirit and feel that actually we are together. If there's a challenge, we can sit together and discuss it. If there's anything that we feel was actually almost outstanding. Also on the technology side, how do we tackle this? This is a huge complex area. How do we actually build this in and make sure that actually it's very, very sustainable, and it can, take our clients generations from now. So of course, a lot of that, it takes a lot of input from every part of the organization. We're very senior as a team though, Toby. So I would say probably that helps an awful lot. We have not hired anyone junior yet. Of course, now in the growth phase we're going through, we look very much forward, and we're super excited about hiring people that we can also train to the next level as well with us. But of course, in the early stages, pretty much everyone here is an expert, and they have been in the sector for also many years. Also from the technology side to the business side to the regulatory side to pretty much all angles, marketing, sales, you name it. And that helps a lot. So when we sit together, we feel we're actually brainstorming. Very quickly we conclude, very quickly we execute, and very quickly we can see, has it succeeded, or do we need to consider step 2 and so forth. So we're constantly going through that phase of if you like, development. And it's every day, Toby. It's all the time, and it's pretty much, at all levels. So we don't sit there and be complacent. If there's an issue, it needs to be solved, and it's now.
Yeah, I love that, and I think that's sort of getting good brains together and being able to sort of collaborate to find solutions is a big part of people being engaged into it as well, isn't it? It's like, right, I'm actually having a contribution to what we do and where we want to go. I want to move back to the sort of dream, to get onto a theme again, and look forward. Look, you've spoken a little bit about what why you came about and where you are now, and how this the product has got itself into a position to solve a major challenge, a major global challenge. That's got huge potential in it, right? And that's got huge global potential. It's first mover advantage of moving into something where there isn't a solution that's a key to a major issue. Talk to me about the scale of the dream and where it is now. I know when you were there and you were excited about setting this up and moving out of comfort zones, you'd have had a vision of where it can go. Where do you go now, and how big is the opportunity, and what's next?
The opportunity is enormous, Toby. It's global. It's not a local problem. It's an absolutely global challenge. Every single financial institution, whether you're a large bank to the smallest asset manager, fund manager, financial firm, that is a global problem, and it's everywhere, and they're all challenged by the same thing. So the opportunity is absolutely enormous. And for us, actually, we have grown the company organically pretty much from the early days. So we probably also don't fit your standard box of the typical fintechs and regtechs that have a great idea and pretty much, put it on paper, found funding, took the funding, hired a bunch of people and started figuring out whether it works or not. We actually have done it completely the other way. We decided, no, we're going to prove this works. We're going to work our certain body parts off to make sure that it works. And then we're going to go out to the market and see where we want to head from there. And pretty much, take the journey from actually the initial founding concept of trying to work out, yes, we know there's a challenge. Yes, we know there's a problem. And now we want to make sure that we can prove it to the market before we go out and start seeking external funding. So we're at a stage now where many are talking to us about the opportunities of coming in. And we have actually managed to grow the company pretty much organically until now. And the decision now is how fast do we want to grow? So that's actually our key challenge now is do we want to take this still at a phase where we're constantly, growing our clients, we hire and so forth, or do we really want to scale up and conquer the world? And I believe that the company has every opportunity to go global and hopefully fast and hopefully soon as well.
It's a really interesting sort of dilemma, isn't it? The sort of position there where you've done everything, you've had that sort of control, and there's some great partners. And I think one of the things that I've seen over the course of the last couple of years in particular is there are businesses there who've got great organic sort of growth, and they ponder about this sort of next phase and either continue to go nicely in the in the channel and move it up, and there's a great way of doing that. Or it's seeking out with a viable product, which gives you, a lot more control about when to do it and how to go with it. But I think that the key to it is choosing and selecting the absolutely ideal partner for you that's absolutely on the same page as where you want to go. Absolutely. And that's a real challenge, isn't it? It's a real interesting sort of play to be doing it from the sort of last 9-10 years about how you've taken it to where it is. It's hugely exciting about what comes next from it. Talk to me about where so obviously you're based out there in Denmark, which looks lovely behind you. Very still. Tell me how much of the business is based over there, how much of it is based elsewhere. What's the story of where you're about and where your client base is?
We have a very large presence in Europe. So definitely Denmark, as you probably know, it's a small country. Although we're very proud of many things in Denmark, the financial service sector is definitely not significant, to say the least. But absolutely, we have very, very large presence in UK, actually in your market. Definitely also across Northern Europe as well as the South. And we're definitely gaining more traction in Eastern Europe as well. We have quite some presence in America and also in Asia. We're seeing a huge growing market there as well. So it's very likely in the coming period, actually, that we're probably looking at opening an office in the US as well. We can definitely see that fantastic growing market. They're absolutely, the financial sector in particular, they love technology and they do see it as a huge enabler to their business. Much, I would say, faster than you would see in our part of Europe and also from Asia as well.
There's a big queue at the moment, isn't there? Sorry to cut in. There's a big. It's one of the regular sort of themes I'm hearing right now is that people are recognising this. Obviously, it's nothing particularly dramatic, but people are recognising this the appetite of the American markets to innovate a little bit more. So I'm seeing, I'm speaking to a lot of businesses in open banking who are looking to crack the States and move out there at the moment. There's obviously a lot of companies in red tech who are starting to move out there. Why is it other than scale? Why is the US such an attractive market for European fintech at the moment?
To be honest with you, they have huge complex structures out in the US for obvious reasons. And that's a huge challenge, even for clients or financial institutions doing business with the US market. There's a lot digitizing that needs to be done, also with the authorities, with the regulators. And there's a lot of regulation that seems to come out from that part of the world that doesn't seem, to be honest with you, Toby, to take into account the fact that there is a limitation on the tech side of the market. And that's a huge problem. It's an enormous problem. And actually, the market is beginning to see that. And I think, to be honest with you, so are the regulators, beginning themselves to realize that in order for us to ensure compliance in these markets, we need technology. And they're very open to seeing what's out there and working with the techs in other parts of the world as well to make sure that actually they also become pioneers in this space and to empower them locally as well. There's enormous opportunity in the US.
It's an exciting thing. I mean, I'm always surprised when I go out there about the sort of infrastructure, just the general sort of status of the infrastructure, even the payments and how much is done by check and such like, and that's evolved over the last couple of years, but it's still sort of significantly behind Europe, I think, in many aspects. Despite the huge amounts of Silicon Valley innovation that happens, I still do think there's an awful lot there where they've been very, very open to bringing the best of European tech and seeing those solutions and how it can solve a lot of the institutional problems I think they have out there at the same time. Yeah,
exactly, definitely.
So the business has big ambition. You've got a great position to grow from, a great standing already in your marketplace. You've got good people and are bringing more good people into it. We sort of touched on it a little bit beforehand, and I threw too many questions at you at the same time to really explore it as well. But I'm a big fan of efficiency and looking at how man and machine can work together, put the two into it, and make things run as smoothly as possible so you can get optimal performance out of your team and the people within it. And I'm speaking on a panel this week actually within our sector, talking about the right tech stack for my main industry, recruitment, and how we can make the process better for customer, for client, and for consultant are at the same sort of stage. Tell me a little bit about your thoughts on this and your view of your passion for if the machine can do it, and then let it.
You're probably talking to the wrong person, Toby. I love it. If I wouldn't say I would replace anyone with robots, but I think a lot of people that have worked with me over the past probably 20 years would say she would have turned us into a robot if she had the option. Actually, I would definitely say that I absolutely love working with people, Toby, but I also love to make sure that humans are empowered all the time. They're using their gift, their skills to actually constantly evolve and move forward. And I would say probably I repeatedly told my team in the previous positions I was in, and even today in Muinmos, that anything the machine can do better, we should put it to the machine and not actually do it ourselves. Anything the machine can do better in terms of efficiency, in terms of accuracy, pretty much in terms of anything, we should definitely put it towards the IT where we code it and we actually get it done and move on to the next challenge. And that, of course, allows us to continue being a small company, yet our reach is huge. And of course, it just means that we don't have people sitting and playing with checklists and ticking boxes and feeling that their job, is an average job where we just need to make sure we do A, B, and C today. Tomorrow we do A, B, and C again, and again A, B, and C the third day. That's bloody boring. I mean, if I ever had to do that on any job, I would literally rather do something else. And I think, to be frank, humans are not designed to do that kind of stuff. Many of them are doing it today. They accept it. Even highly sophisticated, trained individuals that are actually also academic, they see it as, yes, that's my job and that's what I have to do. And the reality is, no, you don't have to do that. You should push for automation. You should scream for digitization. You should actually see the opportunities that technology can give you as a human to empower you and your organization. And that's something that I often preach to my team. Of course, it's easy in Muinmos, we live for that. But of course, even some of our clients that are operating under those type of, if you like, behavior acceptance, where it's okay, that's my job. No, it's not okay. You do not need to do that. You should actually move on and let a machine do that. And then the rest of the work becomes exciting and challenging. Every day you get challenged, it just moves you forward as a human, Toby. And I think we both know that.
I love that. There's our quote coming out your way as well that we were talking about beforehand. Listen, it's been everything I hoped it would be from this. I think I love talking to people who are visionary, who are exciting, who are purpose and passion led, and I don't think I've ever had anyone I've spoken to on the show who could be more passionate about what you're doing and where the company's going. And so, for that reason alone, your global vision, I'm utterly convinced is going to be manifested in the not too distant future. It's just lovely to see, and it's really refreshing and exciting. And I love seeing the sort of continued development and growth of the business. I'm going to ask one more question. Who should be getting in touch with you, and how's the best place for them to do it?
We're pretty much catering for the entire financial sector. Anyone in sitting in onboarding, even sales that have a challenge. Can we take on clients from these jurisdictions? What can we do in these jurisdictions? We're struggling with these jurisdictions, whether it's relating to KYC, AML, relating to the product offering, relating to the category offering, suitability offering, appropriateness offering, we do it. So pretty much any staff that work in that, which typically would be compliance officers, lawyers, onboarding, regulatory experts, and actually sales and marketing. We're beginning to talk to a lot of sales and marketing that are challenged by this and would like to really make the client journey also in their institution pleasant. And they definitely see our offering, our software as a catalyst to changing the complex, absolutely convoluted onboarding process to something that is so pleasant for the user, i.e. the client of these institutions, where they feel, wow, this definitely is a different way of being onboarded. And we have to all remember their client is what brings them business and pushes them forward. And we are here to make sure that our clients support their clients to make sure that the journey is absolutely seamless for them, and any complexity around it that's not necessary for them to experience should go. So we're here to help out, definitely.
Fantastic. And what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Either by email or our phone. Pretty much everything is on our website, www.muinmos.com, and there's plenty of information there to be able to find us. So yes, we look forward, and we're super excited to hear from everyone, and we can assure you their challenges will turn into actually their dream, where they will be able to see how this product can absolutely empower them to turn their work into something absolutely positive and rewarding as well.
Love that, and it's been great to hear it. Thanks so much for sharing your time today again, and it's lovely to have you on the show. Just with you this time out. I'm sure we'll catch up soon and see how the journey's going on as well. Remonda, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, and thank you all for watching. We will see you soon on another episode of Fintech Focus TV. Thanks very much.